Whoa, what is going on YouTube? It's your boy Dan, aka aDrive. I'm bringing you guys a Pokemon Sword and Shield video today. Today we're going to have a pretty interesting discussion about the Pokedex and kind of the future of the Pokemon franchise, looking towards the new games in Pokemon Sword and Shield on the Nintendo Switch. Now, I've had a ton of you guys reach out to me asking me for my opinion on this, and while I've kind of hinted at it a couple times throughout my previous videos, and I actually recorded a video about this, my first reactions to this announcement right after it happened, but have since scrapped that video. I decided to kind of compile my thoughts in this video in a bit of a discussion, and we have some other information, including an interview with Pokemon and kind of their thoughts and everything and all sorts of stuff. So as you can see here, we have the YouTube video from the Nintendo Treehouse Live with 36,000 dislikes compared to 14,000 likes, and that is not the reaction that I think Pokemon and Nintendo wanted to see from this Treehouse Live, and it really kind of derived from one thing. So if you're kind of out of the loop, I'll try to do my best to explain it right here, right now. Be sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe if you guys are new for daily Pokemon content. But anyway, let's kind of jump into things here. The first thing was during the Nintendo Treehouse Live, there was obviously a presentation, and in that presentation, it was said that they are going to be limiting the Pokedex in the Galar region and excluding Pokemon from the region. So, you will be able to catch brand new Pokemon in the Galar region. You'll also be able to catch old favorites like Joltik and Galvantula and Machoke and Charizard and Tyranitar and Steelix and many, many more Pokemon. However, there are going to be Pokemon that are not in the Galar Pokedex. And when I say the Galar Pokedex, I'm not speaking about just new Pokemon. I'm speaking about the Galar Pokedex. So, we can make a guess. The Sun and Moon Pokedex was about 300 Pokemon. The Ultra Sun and Moon Pokedex was about 400 Pokemon. So we can assume that the Galar Pokedex is going to be somewhere between 300 and I would guess about 600 Pokemon. That's a big number, that's a big range, but I'm just throwing it out there. We've seen about 170 Pokemon revealed in these trailers. I think that number is going to be closer to 500 or 600 when all is said and done, which means that there's going to be roughly 500, 400 or so Pokemon that are not in this game. And the big hook here is that they will not be transferable into the game from Pokemon Home. Pokemon Home is the brand new service that's going to allow you to connect all your different devices to this one Pokemon Home device, which is on your Switch. It also is housed on your phone to transfer your Pokemon across the generations. However, there's going to be a situation where you actually can't transfer a lot of them into Pokemon Sword and Shield, because Sword and Shield is going to have a limited Pokedex. Let's take a look at this interview here. Let's kind of jump into it now that I've set the stage. This is an interview on US Gamer from Eric Van Allen, and I'll actually put this in the description below if you guys want to check it out yourself. But I'm going to skip along. This is a pretty interesting read. I would recommend it. I'm not going to read everything. A couple things that I took from this that I thought was interesting. They talked about why it's based in the UK. They talked about the fact that the UK is about being the strongest and the greatest, and now that they have this opportunity to move to new hardware on the Nintendo Switch, they really wanted to step things up for the Nintendo Switch and really do that, and just bring the best game and experience that they can. They talk about max raids and Pokemon Go raids, and what this is interesting is they actually develop max raids and raids in Pokemon Go at the same time. And for those who don't know about Pokemon Go, in Pokemon Go you can oftentimes go to gyms, and there's what's called a raid battle there where you can team up with other people to take down this massive powerful Pokemon and ultimately knock it out and then have a chance to catch it. And that's essentially what max raid battles are going to be. A very cool idea. As much as I think some people are a little conflicted about it, I really like the idea of max raid battles. I think it's a unique experience, and if it's executed properly with the online connectivity, it could be a really cool way to play with your friends. And as a content creator myself, I'm actually excited about the fact that I could potentially be streaming and be like, yo, next 3 people to hop in can join this raid battle with me. We can battle a Pokemon together, and it could create a really fun experience for us. So I'm not exactly positive on the connectivity, whether it's only local. I'm assuming there's got to be some online capabilities there. So we'll see what ends up happening in the wild area with that. This talks about the end game. They really focus on the end game, and they really want to focus on the battle system and the competitive scene. And to me, that's massive. A lot of you guys may know me as a shiny hunter, but I love competitive Pokemon. And I've done competitive Pokemon since before I shiny hunted, actually. Been doing it for over 10 years now at this point, and I'm a big fan. So I think if there's a good post game for competitive, and if that's the focus, I dig it. Now, here's the big one. Looking at some news that came out yesterday, there are some limitations on Pokemon Bank or Home. Only the Galar region Pokedex is going to be accessible. Can you walk me through why that decision was made and why you think it's important to have that limitation? And Junichi Masuda, the producer of the games, has said, There's a couple different parts of thinking behind it. The biggest reason is just there's a lot of Pokemon. We already have over 800 species. There's gonna be more added these games, probably about 100. And now that we're on the Switch, we're creating it with higher fidelity and higher quality animations, but even more than that, it's coming down to the battle system. We're making sure we can keep everything balanced and give all Pokemon that appear in the game a chance to shine. Now, I'm gonna just focus on this point for a second right now. When we talk about competitive Pokemon, there's obviously Pokemon that kind of fall by the wayside. You think of things like Furret, and I know a lot about competitive Pokemon, and generally a Pokemon like Furret has really no competitive viability when there's so many things that are better at what it does than what it does. Now, there are instances of certain Pokemon having niche roles in competitive Pokemon where they can fulfill one specific role that maybe other Pokemon can't do. A great example of this is Jellicent. Jellicent is a Pokemon that is often regarded as being a pretty low tier threat. It's not considered to be all that good, but it can counter various Pokemon like Keldeo incredibly well. So it does have a place in the higher metagames. So I think that when they kind of focus on this point here and you talk about this idea of trying to balance and give every Pokemon an opportunity to shine, I actually really respect that idea. Now, don't jump on me just yet, because I'm gonna give you my real thoughts when all is said and done in this video. But I'm just trying to stand from an objective perspective here and just try not to get my emotions involved here. I can understand that. I can say, okay, you know what? Balance is important. I can see them really focusing on a competitive scene and not wanting that to get affected. You have to realize there's a lot of pieces here, right? It's not just, hopping on in-game. It's not just competitive, 3v3 online. There's a VGC scene that is most likely going to be continued. And separate from all this, when it comes to a development cycle, you have to realize it's more than just the video games. Pushing back the video games creates an entire ripple effect that impacts the anime, it impacts the toy launches, it impacts the trading card game launches. It has a lot of ripple effects. So delaying a video game isn't really feasible in terms of this. So I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. So just hear me out on this, okay? We knew at some point we weren't going to be able to keep indefinitely supporting all the new Pokemon, and we just found that Sword and Shield would probably be a good point to go back, reevaluate what would be the best selection of Pokemon that appeal to the widest audience, so Greninja, while keeping into consideration the balance of the battle system. It isn't going to just be all new Pokemon. There's still a lot of favorites that fans will be able to bring over from their adventures and previously. But yeah, it was pretty much just balancing and getting this optimal selection of Pokemon for the adventure we wanted to provide, basically. So they are going to take a lot of things out. I think the biggest thing that gets the cut is probably a lot of legendaries. I think you're going to see a lot of legendaries go, because if they're not in the national decks, the Galar region, how do they get integrated in the game? Are they going to have legitimately 70 legendary Pokemon that somehow you just happen to be able to go and get in the game? I'm thinking probably not. So I think your Ultra Beasts are probably gone. I think a lot of your legendaries are probably gone. I think a lot of your mythicals are probably gone, and they may be added down the road. There's been talks, some rumors and potential other talks about them adding Pokemon in the game later. But there's a few things I want to discuss here in terms of how we can look at this. First, I think regardless of your opinion on this, you should not be bashing the creators of the game. If you disagree with them and you're unhappy about it, by all means, create your petitions, say you want the national decks, whatever you want to do. But don't attack these people, man. They're trying to make a game. It's their job. They're trying to do their job. Don't attack them. And listen, my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion right now. I'm very disappointed. I'm personally very disappointed in the fact that there's going to be limited Pokemon. I personally think I'm like, what's the point of Pokemon Home if I can't transfer in every single Pokemon? Is that going to ruin my gameplay experience? No, because I think back to Sun and Moon, I think back to Ultra Sun and Moon, I think back to Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, where they were all limited Pokedexes until you got access to some sort of, transfer option in the later game, and it's not a big deal. It doesn't impact that. The one thing it impacts for me, and well, two things. The two things it impacts is, one, I feel bad for anyone out there whose favorite Pokemon is, let's say, Florges, and Florges isn't in the game. That's kind of a bummer, right? Doesn't mean you can't find a new favorite Pokemon. It's just kind of a bummer, especially since I feel like we've been promised, or at least talked about, this idea that we could transfer things forward as we go. That's definitely a bit of a bummer. And two, it definitely kind of stinks from a competitive perspective, because I like the idea, when I think of draft league Pokemon, where we're drafted Pokemon, of having all the Pokemon at my disposal to potentially draft and use and utilize and all this stuff. So I really, from that perspective, a little bit bummed. But you know what? I'm going to keep an open mind here, and I'm going to just say, you know what? Let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens, because deep down at its core, my gut feeling is that the other half of the Pokedex is going to come out in a game next year in 2020, Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum remakes with the rest of the decks. That's my guess. Or it comes out as DLC, or they somehow figure out a way to integrate these Pokemon down the road, or they bring them back down the road. You know what? It is what it is. But I just want to say, let me look at the rest of this interview before we go any further here. They talked about some balancing. They talked about you know, the launching point. I really think you should watch, read the rest of this interview. Like I said, I'll link it. There's some talks about the gym battles and stuff like that, collaborative play. What are you most excited for? The wild area is something that they're really excited for. And then they just talk kind of about their thoughts on it evolving and stuff like that. I'm gonna pull up this tweet right here, and I posted this yesterday. And I do want to say, when this was announced during the direct, my reaction was I was bummed. I was bummed. I was tweeting out Pokemon big fail or massive fail Pokemon. Like, I'm not happy. Like, don't get me wrong, I am not happy about this decision. But I'm also not gonna start attacking people and hating on people because of it. They obviously have this decision. I'm excited about the game. I'm really excited about the game. But here's what I want to say. Why are people attacking others over a different opinion? It's okay to be disappointed and upset. If you're not happy, that's okay. It's okay to not buy the game. If you don't want to buy the game, don't buy the game. If you want to boycott the game, by all means, boycott the game. That is up to you, man. I'm not telling you what to do. You do whatever you want. It's also okay to just not care and just be like, hey, it's all good. We could just be, it's fine. I'm not worried about it. There's going to be great new Pokemon. We got IMPIDIMP. We got YAMPER. We got all sorts of cool stuff. I'm team whatever, Grookey, Sobble, Scorbunny, whatever. I'm going to just rock my new partners through this adventure, and it's going to be okay. But what's not okay is to attack people and bash other people's opinions and tell other people that they are wrong for feeling the way that they feel. What is wrong with people, man? Seriously. How are you going to tell somebody that they shouldn't be upset if they're upset? If they want to be upset, let them be upset. I see other content creators, man. I see fans, everyone just going at each other's throats over this. And I love the passion. Don't get me wrong. I'm a passionate guy myself. I love the passion. But why are we being so negative and attacking people? That doesn't work, man. That's just so toxic and just not appropriate under any circumstances. So I've given my opinions. My opinion is yes, I would love to see all these Pokemon in the game because they're Pokemon. Why should I just forget about them? But I'm not gonna not get the game, and I'm not gonna boycott the game, and I'm not gonna say this game is trash, all because when I beat the game, I can't transfer a few of my favorites in. Because they want me to focus on some of the new ones or focus on balance or whatever it may be. You know what? I guarantee you the majority of the Pokemon that are not going to be in the new game, I'm not going to really care that much about. And I'm not even going to realize or miss that they're there. When Lumineon isn't in the game, I'm not going to shed a tear. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. When they decide, okay, sorry guys, we decided that we're going to take out, I don't know, Drampa. Oh no, my heart. I do feel for the people. I do feel for the people whose favorite Pokemon is Drampa, though. Like, that's what I'm saying. I feel, and maybe Drampa's in it, I don't know. I do feel for those people, like, I really do, because it stinks. But at the end of the day, if that's what makes your decision that you don't want to get the game, then don't get the game. Like, I don't know what to tell you. That's just kind of my overall thoughts on it. And then, you know, I was on Reddit. I browse Reddit from time to time, and you can see just a lot of people really not happy. Rage Thread, Pokemon Home Edition. People just, I'm not even going to click into that. Game Freak, Pokemon, and lack of ambition. This is a huge running problem that needs to stop. And obviously, we saw the dislikes in the video. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, they can't push back the release. There's so many moving pieces. They're not going to push it back. And if it truly is just a development issue and they just don't have the time to do everything, then they don't have the time to do everything, man. And if they think it's better for balance and that's their reasoning, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see, because maybe they take the Furrets of the world and they make them stronger, and then they leave out, you know, Sandslash just happens to not be in the game, you know? And what happens when this Dex comes out and it's 600 Pokemon or 700 Pokemon out of 900, like over 1,000? Like, is it really gonna be that big of a deal? I don't know, man. I'm curious as to your thoughts, guys. I do ask sincerely that you keep the comment section to just, you know, a dull roar, man. You know, give me your thoughts in the comments. Don't rip into each other. Don't personally attack each other. It's okay to have a different opinion with somebody. That's what I just want to communicate that. I think it's important to realize that it's okay to have a different opinion from somebody else. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're allowed to have a different opinion and not hate the other person or just bash somebody or any of that. Like, it's okay. You can do that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Are you bummed? Are you not buying the game? Do you not care? It is what it is. I've given my thoughts. Like I said, my summary is simply this. Like, you know, I'm bummed. I'm genuinely bummed. But I'm still excited for the games. I think the games are going to be awesome. And I had a guy actually tweet at me, and he said something to the effect of the fact that I'm being paid and that I just want the games to do well, so I'm not voicing my opinion and whatever else. And I'm just like, dude, have you not seen my videos and my comments? I was the first person to jump all over Pokemon and said massive fail. And if you scroll back, If I scroll back, all sorts of stuff I tweet, because I tweet a lot of stuff. But let me see here. Seriously, that Pokemon announcement killed a ton of hype. Such a disappointment. I can only imagine they're working on another game for 2020 to finish the Dex. Biggest fail. This is pretty bad. Massive fail Pokemon. So you can see I've been very quick to jump all over them. I was not happy about this, man. I was very quick to say, this is ridiculous. But that doesn't mean that I can take a step back and just see, now that I have an explanation from Masuda and a more in-depth explanation as to why they're taking things out, then, you know what? I honestly feel a little bit better about it. I get it. You know, they talk about a lot of different factors, setting the game, they want the Galar region, all the Pokemon to make sense in the Galar region, etc. You know what? I'm open-minded. Let's see what happens. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit that like button, subscribe. Some of you guys asked for this video, so here you go. There's my honest thoughts, my take. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.